there's a thunderstorm warning in about an hour or so, I believe it, with the gray clouds coming. Let's see if it actually comes. And what I read today, this was kind of interesting. As you know, in a lot of places, people are hysterical when it comes to things like drones, thinking they're spying on them and so forth. Well, how about this one? You've heard stories where drone sightings end up being nothing. For example, birds, plastic bags, and stuff like that. Well, this one here says police conclude investigation after realizing alleged drone was just a bird. This one was kind of different too, the type of bird it was apparently, in terms of what was dropped anyways. A police investigation has concluded that an unknown substance, a suspected drone was allegedly dropping on homes in a small Ontario town, was just bird poop. The Waterloo Regional Police says its probe into the suspicious drone activity has wrapped up with no criminal charges. Police said in August they were investigating harassment and mischief involving a drone after receiving multiple complaints of harassing behavior and property damage in Ayr, a community in the township of North Dumfries. Investigators said at the time that they believed a first-person view drone flew over a residential area on several nighttime occasions and dropped the unknown substance on houses, vehicles, and properties. And from this, they say they got help in terms of trying to figure out what exactly was dropped and all that. And it says police say the University of Guelph assisted the resulting investigation. They determined the substance was a heron's feces and there had been no criminal activity. Okay, that's kind of weird because if it's what I'm thinking of, like those herons that I usually see around the park and stuff like that, those things are huge, aren't they? I don't see how you would mix that up with, let's just say, a traditional FPV drone. Usually with drones, for example, with people being suspicious around a neighborhood that there is a drone, they'd base it on things like the noise too, correct? All this buzzing sound and so forth. Are they claiming that they heard these buzzing sounds as well around this area? If it is a heron? I don't know, to me it sounds really weird, but it's just one of those stories, if this is accurate anyways, of how there's so many times people say it's a quote drone, it ends up being nothing like this, or it ends up being a bird or something like that. People do make drones of all shapes and sizes, but again, mistaking something like a heron for an FPV drone. But with that said, how about this type of drone here? This one says Ukrainian army receives new Chaklun drone to adjust artillery fire. The Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has approved the supply of a domestically produced Chaklun drone capable of adjusting artillery fire. The ministry said that the new unmanned aerial vehicle is built based on aircraft model, which is compact and multifunctional. Oh no, does that mean people are going to be afraid of things like model aircraft and stuff now? It says the drone is highly resistant to electronic interference, which is an important factor for performing combat missions in the face of active use of electronic warfare by the Russians. In addition, Chaklun is equipped with software specially developed by Ukrainian programmers, which allows it to effectively control the drone even under difficult weather conditions. And they basically list a bunch of other details about this, saying, for example, there are more than 140 unmanned aerial vehicles and 33 ground robotic systems made in Ukraine were approved by use for the Defense Forces of Ukraine in the first 9 months of 2024. And they say for the things like drones, Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal said that Ukraine will produce 1.5 million drones by the end of the year. He said that Ukraine is working with partners every day to increase arms supplies and strengthen the development of its own defense industry. Well, I guess it's a sign again where things like war will still go on, but with this type of drone, it makes you wonder, is it already outdated with all that news about that fiber optic drone and stuff like that being able to get past any type of detection system that most people use? And this was kind of interesting today, as apparently in the US, the FTC is going to implement a law of sort where companies have to make it very easy for people to be able to unsubscribe to things like services and all that. This one says Federal Trade Commission announces final click-to-cancel rule, making it easier for consumers to end reoccurring subscriptions and memberships. That's the thing for a lot of service-based companies. When you try to unsubscribe, there's pages and pages of things trying to stop you from unsubscribing. All these terms saying if you do, you'll be penalized and all that. Well, I guess this is supposed to make it easier, huh? It says the Federal Trade Commission today announced a final click-to-cancel rule that will require sellers to make it as easy for consumers to cancel their enrollment as it was to sign up. Most of the final rules provisions will go into effect 180 days after it is published in the Federal Register. Too often, businesses make people jump through endless hoops just to cancel a subscription, said Commission Chair Lena M. Khan. The FTC's rule will end these tricks and traps saving Americans time and money. Nobody should be stuck paying for a service they no longer want. So that should be, for example, companies such as online streaming services like a Netflix, or it could be subscriptions to creative software like an Adobe, I would imagine anyways. And some pointers they mentioned: the final rule will provide a consistent legal framework by prohibiting sellers from misrepresenting any material fact made while marketing goods or services with a negative option feature, failing to clearly and conspicuously disclose material terms prior to obtaining a consumer's billing information in connection with a negative option feature, failing to obtain a consumer's express informed consent to the negative option feature before charging the consumer, and failing to provide a simple mechanism to cancel the negative option feature and immediately halt charges. I know usually this is a telephone thing, but oftentimes for service-based companies, when you cancel, they always have specialized agents and departments to try to keep you in the service, offering you discounts and all that. So it makes me wonder if that would be actually illegal, because some places they actually do that online anyways. If you threaten to cancel, then all of a sudden magically you get this page, wait, don't leave, we'll offer you like a 30% discount or whatever. So it makes me wonder if that is, quote, illegal afterwards in regards to this. But either way, this type of stuff is kind of irritating, I guess, for the consumer, so I guess it's good overall. All right, see you guys later.